What's up, everybody? Welcome to video 3 in our Project 3030, which is 30 videos in 30-day challenge. Now, in this video, we're talking about smartwatches and using them in adventures. Now, I've done a decent amount of paddling, hiking, running, and exercising and such while owning 2 smartwatches for the past like 2 or 3 years. Well, actually, I owned one before that, but I'm not really counting that one. Now, I'm going to share with you guys how I actually use the watches during these activities, as well as my everyday life. And how I see myself using them going forward. Now, the previous watch I had before my Casio was a Garmin Fenix 5 that I got for Father's Day from my wife and my mom. I mean, it was a totally awesome gift, that I was totally thrilled to have. And previously, I had owned a Samsung smartwatch, but I didn't wear it for too long. I don't know. I gave up on it for my trusty old Casio G-Shock, right? But while I was wearing the Fenix 5, I really enjoyed having it and the functions that it provided. Now, the things that I liked about the watch were the heart rate monitor, and it had some good fitness tracking, some decent notifications. It had pretty decent battery life. It had a sleep tracker, which was part of the heart rate tracker. Although it was said that it wasn't the most accurate, but they have since improved on it. But there were also other types of health and fitness tracking things that it had, which all have been improved on in the newer Garmin watches. Notice that I didn't mention any adventure-related, activities that I use the watch for. Although I probably did use it to track, a paddling trip or two, but it just didn't prove to be very useful to me in that regard. Now, my only dislike for the Fenix 5 was brought to my attention only after Casio sent me this watch. This is the Casio Pro Trek. I don't even know if they even make this anymore. It's really hard to find out their watches on it. It's tough, but they sent it to me, so that's why I used it. And really and truly, I've been wearing this watch ever since I got it. It was a few years newer, and the notifications were so much better on here than they were for the Garmin. It also has a very slick GPS matching feature where it displays actual Google satellite images on the watch face. But after nearly a year of using the Casio, I actually sold my Garmin once I realized that I was never going to wear it again. But now the things I like about the Casio, now this is going to be in order of importance, were number one, the notifications. And the notifications were just so much better when it came to like reading messages and emails and like emergency dispatch alerts, because I'm a firefighter or whatever. With the Garmin, I'd get notifications, but I couldn't read them very good, or they never showed enough information, or whatnot. But being able to quickly glance at the Casio, once it vibrated with a notification, and I could read the full text message or get the gist of the email was really nice. But what was even better for my personal use was, when I was at the fire station, I would get dispatch alerts, through the phone that the notification would go to the watch, and I could actually see which engines were dispatched to the certain call, and I could already be headed to the truck, before the main alarm in the station went off. So that was pretty handy to have. Now, the GPS satellite images were certainly really cool. They were very accurate, and they had very detailed imaging, but I'd probably use it on an actual adventure like 2, maybe 3 times ever. And I used it more just showing it to people what it could do more than actually using it on an adventure, because it was pretty cool. Like, man, check out what my watch can do, but I didn't really use that feature. If I needed to see a map, it was so much easier just to pull out my phone, as it was easier to see and easier to use and zoom in on the map and look around. It was just a better way of doing it, right? And typically when I'm on an adventure, I don't really use a super detailed map very often. Sometimes I don't use a map, because sometimes I'm just going straight down a river, or sometimes I know the area or something, but I just never found myself using that particular cool map feature much at all. Now, I'm pretty sure this Casio also has like music controls on it, which I thought I was going to like, but I never really used them either. I think the main reason is that it just didn't always connect or recognize that I was playing music, so I eventually just stopped trying to use it to skip to the next song, right? Now, the main dislikes for the Casio would be battery life. It might last 2 days when it's on, when it's accepting notifications, and even less than that if you're using the GPS mapping and tracking features and all that jazz. Now, that's one reason I never used it for its capabilities during an adventure. I didn't want my battery to die. I mean, what if I was actually lost and needed maps, but my watch was already dead because the battery doesn't last for the crap? Well, that's not very good. So most of the time, I would just turn my watch on battery saver mode while I was on an adventure, so I never even got the notifications. So the battery life just isn't that good. As in a matter of fact, I haven't charged it in like 3 or 4 days, and so the watch has just been in like, I don't know, it's just in time mode. You know, it's like a cheap $4 watch right now. It doesn't do anything because it's aggravating to charge this thing every couple of days. And also, it has a magnet charger, but sometimes whenever I put the magnet thing on there, it'll show that it's charging on here, but it doesn't actually charge the watch. So I'll come out like 4 hours later, ready to go with my watch charged, and it wouldn't charge at all. So it's a little aggravating. So right now with my Casio, I don't see myself using a smartwatch on many adventure-specific uses, unless that use didn't kill my battery in 3 or 4 days. Then I probably would use it to track my, how fast I was moving and stuff like that. But how I would like to see myself using a smartwatch is for features like, well, of course, the time, notifications. Health and fitness tracking is pretty important to me, like sleep and heart rate recovery, and like heart rate during workouts, and then for maybe tracking runs and cycling and paddling, blah blah blah. And also alarms. I do like alarms, but right now this thing doesn't even do alarms because the battery doesn't last, right? So to be honest with you, I'd love to get rid of the Casio. The short battery life it's just sus. And I've done some looking at the newer Garmin models, and they have really good battery life, and of course they get better notifications, probably better than this does now, but better than my Fenix 5 used to. And they also have improved the heart rate monitoring and the sleep and the fitness tracking and all that I liked about my old Garmin Fenix 5. So if you ask me for a smartwatch suggestion today, from the limited knowledge that I have, which is somewhat limited, I have done some research. I'd probably point you towards like the Garmin Forerunner 245 or the 945 or a Garmin Instinct. But Garmin has a lot of great watches in their lineup, and you can learn about on YouTube all the different features and all the different watches because there really is a ton of them. But if you're not looking for that right this moment, I suggest checking out this awesome video of one of my adventures.